Good day, everyone. We're going to proceed with our discussion, which is on chapter 3, which is all about the code of ethics for professional teachers. And this time we're going to focus on lesson 2C, which is all about the relationship with the secondary and tertiary stakeholders, primarily focusing on the teacher and the parents. So just to note, the explanatory notes in this lecture was adapted from Attorney Estrada's Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers book, and this is for presentation and discussion purposes only. So the first section of the article about the teacher and the parents highlights the vital role of teachers in fostering strong positive relationships with parents. By cultivating cordial interactions, teachers can build trust and open lines of communication, which are essential for effective collaboration. Gaining parents' confidence and respect not only enhances their engagement in their children's education, but also creates a supportive atmosphere that benefits student learning. When teachers conduct themselves professionally, they encourage parental involvement and demonstrate that they value the family's role in the educational process. Ultimately, this relationship contribute to more cohesive and effective educational experience for students. Section 2, it underscores the responsibilities of teachers to communicate effectively with parents regarding their children's academic progress and challenges. By providing honest and tactful feedback, teachers can help parents understand their child's strengths and areas needing improvement. This open dialogue fosters collaboration between educators and families, ensuring that parents can support their children's learning effectively. Seeking parental cooperation not only aids in addressing deficiencies but also promotes a unified approach to student development. Ultimately, this communication is crucial for creating a supportive educational environment that prioritizes student growth and well-being, reinforcing the partnership between home and school. For the third section, this emphasizes the importance of teachers responding to parental complaints with empathy and compassion. By actively listening and validating parents' concerns, teachers can foster a supportive atmosphere that encourages open dialogue. Addressing complaints thoughtfully helps to build trust and rapport between educators and families. Additionally, the directive to discourage unfair criticism highlights the need for professionalism and constructive communication. Teachers are encouraged to focus on solutions rather than allowing negativity to hinder collaboration. This approach not only enhances the teacher-parent relationship, but also contributes to a more positive school community, ultimately benefiting students' educational experiences. So this time we're going to discuss and focus on the special parental authority of in loco parentis. The concept of in loco parentis as outlined in Article 218 of the Family Code of the Philippines grants school administrators and teachers special parental authority over minors in their care. So this legal framework establishes that educators are responsible for students' welfare during school hours and authorized activities both on and off campus. This authority empowers teachers to make decisions that protect and guide students, ensuring a safe and supportive learning environment. It also emphasizes the dual responsibility of educators to nurture students' educational and emotional needs, reinforcing the partnership between schools and families in fostering children's overall development and growth. In St. Mary's Academy versus Carpetanos, the Supreme Court affirmed that the authority and responsibility outlined in Article 218 of the Family Code extends to activities such as field trips and excursions. When these activities are authorized by the school or its teachers, the institution retains parental authority over students, ensuring their safety and well-being outside the classroom. This ruling underscores the importance of schools in acting as guardians during such events, highlighting their role in fostering a secure environment for learning and personal development. Ultimately, it reinforces the legal responsibilities of educators in supervising students beyond school premises. So as stipulated also in Batas Pambansa 232 Section 16, it outlined crucial obligations for teachers Emphasizing their commitment to the school's philosophies and goals, teachers are expected to fulfill their responsibilities diligently, ensuring that their actions align with the institutional objectives in relation to the teachers' and parents' relationships. Regular reporting on students' performance is essential, providing feedback and constructive suggestions for improvement to both students and their respective parents or guardians. Additionally, teachers are encouraged to prioritize their professional growth and development while fosters a culture of lifelong learning. Maintaining professionalism in conduct is equally important as it sets a standard for students and cultivates a positive educational environment, reinforcing the integrity of the teaching profession. For this last slide, we're going to give an example on how the role of teachers are critical as far as parental authority is concerned. So in St. Benedict Childhood Center Incorporated versus Joy San Jose, the Supreme Court upheld the termination of a teacher who denied a 5-year-old pupil access to the toilet, humiliating him publicly and dismissing his needs. The ruling emphasizes that such behavior constituted serious misconduct violating professional standards. The court highlighted the importance of sections 1 and 3 of Article 9 of the Code of Ethics, which mandated teachers to maintain cordial relationship with parents and to address their concerns with empathy. This case underscores the ethical obligation of educators to prioritize students' welfare and maintain professionalism in their interactions with both students and faculty. It's all about the teacher and the parents. Have a great day.